Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. So today, something brand new from ICM, their new kit, basically a diorama set, a multiple set. It's the fire trucks of Ukraine. Sadly all too much in the news and too much needed all the time at the moment, and on it goes. But anyway, a couple of interesting looking vehicles, the sort of thing you'd see on the streets there all over the country really every day. It's kit set, a diorama set number, DS for diorama set 3527, and the two vehicles I don't know much about, if I'm quite honest. It's going to be quite interesting. Let's just zoom in on the side and see what we actually have here. So we've got an actual fire engine, what looks like basically a fire engine which has all the hoses and the pumps and everything. And this one, AC40137A, and then what looks like, I don't know if this is a fire truck as well, or if it's the water bowser in effect, but we'll get into that. AR2, and it says 43105, which doesn't tell me a lot. But anyway, on the side it says, and I'll zoom you back while I read this. Two representatives of the fire truck class, AC40137A, tank truck, and the hose truck. I was right, one's a tank truck, one's a hose truck. I thought it was, it looks like a tank, doesn't it? It's actually quite clever. So one's got all the big powerful pumps in it, and the other one carries the water, which if you think about it makes a whole lot of sense, because you can have equipment in one and the water and supply in the other. It says it's detailed reproduction of classic chassis elements, cabin and external special equipment, decals and markings for each type of fire truck. And we've got 295 parts for the AC40. Trying to get this in my head around that. The AC40, that's the fire truck, I think, and this one is the tanker truck. Is it the way around? I'm not sure now, we'll get into that. So it's 295 parts for one and 330 parts for the tanker truck. Wow, so it's quite a lot of parts. This is a big heavy box, actually, I've got to say. Really feels solid and really feels, that's a good kilo in there. Right, let's get into it and have a look at what we got then, because this is going to be interesting. I know one or two of you, some of my subscribers, people like David Mummery and Stuart Neal, love these sort of trucks and anything to do with the emergency services in Ukraine, and because it's quite an interesting subject and very a very sort of current thing that you'd see every day, see it on the news, don't we, sadly. Right, let's have a look. Oh my lord, there is a lot of plastic in this box. Jeez. Holy moly, that's one, and that's the other. That's a big bag of springs, isn't it? Heck, this could take all night. I'll try and be as quick as I can. I'm going to put my other light on to give us a bit more light. So basically, it is like a double kit. In effect, you've got two kits in one. Oops. Let's have a look at what we got then. Trucks are not my normal thing, really. I'm not a big truck fan, unlike some of you guys I mentioned. But I think it's important that it's an important subject, so I think it's important that we have a proper look at this one. Do we have some? Excuse me. Do we have some decals? Yes, we do. We do. Let's have a look at those first. So I'm going to be fairly brief because there's a lot here, and it is a truck, so a lot of it will be fairly self-explanatory, I think. Famous last words. So here is our decals, and as you can see, it looks like a Kyiv number on the registration number there, I think, on the top left. And yeah, it's a nice set of decals there, to be honest. Very, very good. Okay, so that's the decals. That's for the Soviet. They call it a Soviet fire truck because it's quite. You can tell it's a lot older, can't you? And it says, okay, it's based on the ZIL. So I will be fairly rapid with this because we have in fact seen the ZIL before, haven't we? I think about a year ago I did a review. So it's a variation fire truck version of the ZIL truck. So I won't be dragging my feet over this too much. It says the ZIL 131 was one of the most widespread all-wheel drive cargo vehicles in the USSR. Yeah. Its serial production began in 1967. The vehicle earned a reputation for high reliability, exceptional off-road capabilities and ruggedness. The base model could transport cargo weighing up to 5 tons. Various specialised vehicles are built on the ZIL 131 chassis for both military and civilian purposes. Among these was the AC-40 137A fire tanker, manufactured by the Preluki Fire Equipment Plant from 1984. This model improved upon the previous fire trucks with a 100 litre larger tank capacity and an addition of monitor controls in the cabin. These vehicles continue to serve in fire departments across many countries and are in extensive use in Ukraine currently. So it has a crew of 7 men. Gosh, yes, because it's got like a cabin at the back. So I think it's 4 at the back and 3 at the front, I think. Weighs 11 tons. Whoa, that's a truck, isn't it? Yeah, maximum speed 80k, 50 miles an hour. That's not bad at all, is it? Right, okay, let's get into it and have a quick look at this. So I don't drag my feet too much because we have seen the ZIL before. I'll be fairly brief on this one, I think. We'll just dash through and give you a flavour of it. So here we've got the instructions. Quite a few parts in this variant on that sprue that you won't use, and then other sprues you will. Building up a sort of a ladder rail type chassis with leaf spring suspension. Looks like you've got the torque converter there because it's an all-wheel drive, isn't it? You've got fuel tanks. A bit closer. Give you a bit more zoom so you can see what I'm rabbiting on about. Fuel tanks here with like armour plating protection around them just for crash protection. Perhaps they need it for other things now, of course. And then we've got building up the running boards when they jump on at the side. You've got your gearbox going in here. In fact, it's the engine and the gearbox, isn't it? All in one, almost. And then you've got all your drive belts and ancillary items like alternators and things there. Header tank for the oil, I think that is. And then you've got radiator going on. Building up your front bumper, which looks quite meaty on this, obviously. Anti-roll bars, etc. Exhaust system here. Put in your exhaust and your baffle soundbox silencer. Then you've got your transaxles going on there. You've got your suspension, wheels and tyres for the rear double axle with the leaf springs on it. And then you've got the drive shaft, prop shaft here, which actually operates the transfer box, if you like, that operates the propulsion to the main, from the main transmission back to the secondary. And the back one looks, yeah, like a slave wheel almost, isn't it? But it's just basically a drive shaft connecting them. And then you've got some anti-roll bar and the suspension, as you can see there. And you've got a further drive shaft that's going to go up to the front, of course. The front axle going in here, front wheels. Then you're going to build up your cab. You've got all your pedals and your gear stick, control, handbrake. Fairly rudimentary seats going in here. It's like a bench seat, isn't it, for these? And then I think the bench seat goes at the back actually, and it's like a 2 and a 1, so I was right, it's 3 at the front, 4 at the back, isn't it? In terms of personnel. Building up all your internals for your cabin, putting in the 2 sides, starboard and port side of the cabin. Then you've got all your periphery underneath, windscreen going in here, windscreen surround, headlights going on. Steering wheel going in there, and the roof, and that's your cabin area completed. You've got your front grille area here, bonnet goes on the top there, and then you're going to mount your your chassis to the load storage area. And for this we've got, this is where it's got, I think you can see this is basically a water tanker, isn't it, in this case, but it's got all this very advanced looking pump, high pressure pumps for the hoses for the fire service going in there, and that goes behind the actual tank. You've got your extension of your exhaust to the back here, spare wheel going on underneath at the rear, and then you've got the sides going in there. There's obviously not a lot of detail internally because it's just a big tank of water basically. Just that pump detail which is at the back, and you can see how the pump, the nozzles come out for the pump hoses to attach to where the unions are. And then you've just got your the side cover on, which has obviously got stowage bins in it, yeah, and all sorts of stowage boxes inside. They don't open, I don't think. Then you've got a roof coming on here. Oops, sorry about that. What's that going on the back? Bum, 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 bum. I think it's another like a hydrant nozzle, or it might be from an external electrical power supply. I'm not quite sure. You've got like footholes for climbing up onto the roof when you need to go to the top to refill it, because it's got this enormous refilling cap, basically a big lid. So it's obviously done that way, you know. And then finally you've just got these little sort of flaps at the back, access flaps, and then we've got the actual, what looks like the hose stowage tubes on the top. So we'll have some hose extensions in it, I think. Looks like a rocket launcher, but it isn't, obviously. There you go on the top, complete with your fireman's ladders. They look quite cool. See what the plastic's like. And then your ladders get fitted onto the roof. You've got, looks like a siren. It's a siren, isn't it? I think this for the emergency siren, making a lot of noise. Klaxon, emergency, and to draw the attention of the public. And then you've just got all the ancillaries like your headlights and your wipers. And then you finished fire truck tanker, ZIL tanker. And here it is. Hey, it's quite nice, isn't it? If you're into your trucks and things like that, this is going to be right up your street. In fact, I can almost envisage a queue of people want to get their hands on this, actually. David and Stuart being amongst them. So let's have a look at what we've got then. Let's make sure I pick up the right kit. 10635. So this is 35519. So it's that one. Right, this is very important we get it right. Because to me, truck's a truck, really. I'm not the greatest truck expert. So that's that one. We'll put that one aside. So we'll do this almost like 2 reviews, I think. I'll do this one first, then do the second one. If I can get into my bag, here we go. That's quite a generous bag in this one. That's good. It's always good to have a bag with plenty of space. Let's see what we got then. I've got a feeling they're really quite nice, this. They usually are. These ones are pretty good. Now what we have got, which I'm not that keen on, because it's not a new tool, this one, is it? We've got rubber, straight away they've dropped out, rubber tyres. But let's give them a fair crack on the whip, give them a fair hearing and see what we think of them. Let's have a look. Start with those. Rubber tyres. Come on then. There we go. Well, do you know what? They're actually lovely. Bit of a seam on them, I think. I've not got my most powerful glasses on. You can probably see a lot better than I can if I zoom you in. Have a look at this. They're actually very nicely moulded though. Get a bit closer. There we go. There's a slight seam down the centre, isn't there? But the actual moulding of the treads is lovely. Really, really nice. Any writing on the side? No writing on the side. This is why I tend to prefer plastic ones, really. But yeah, they've actually moulded them very well, and they've got a good robust feel to them. So yeah, quite a nice set there. So that's our tyres. I'll pop those back in there. They'll stay together. And we've got the wheels here. Nicely detailed wheels. Look at that. Those are cool, aren't they? Yep, nothing wrong with those. Clear parts, let's do those now. I'm not sure, because it's not new to us, I'm not sure we're going to have them necessarily being polished with the bamboo stick, but I think they're probably okay. We shall see. Let's have a look. Oh, those are really nice, aren't they? That's your main windscreen. Excuse me. Main windscreen. Not quite as perfect as they are today. I think the tooling of this is at least 5-6 years old. Thereabouts, anyway. You can see there's some minor flaws within that you don't get on the new tool stuff from ICM. The latest stuff is up at Tamiya levels, but this is a little bit older, so you kind of expect that. But very nice. I mean, they're not issues that you'd notice, I think, when it's on the kit. I'm being very critical there, of course, as is my way. Right, let's have a look at these then. Let's zoom you back. Let's get you a bit back zoom on this. So, we've got our roof here for the cab. There's the bonnet. You've got the cab side here. And then you've got the internal floor of the cab. And you've got the grille over here. Looks nice, doesn't it? Got the dashboard here. I need to come in a bit closer. dashboard. There's your grill. You've got the sort of mud guards here. Looks like the stowage tank, fuel tank there. That's very nice. That's the first one. And second, we've got all the sort of floor area. Actually, that's the roof, isn't it? Because that's where the great big filler lid is. They must just pour in a big, massive great hose, I suppose. And then here you've got the basic floor area. You've got some of the sides here. Yeah. Internal parts of the cabin, and very nicely moulded though. Look at that. It's nice, isn't it? Too much wrong with that. No flash or anything, no nonsense, you know. All very nicely moulded. Lovely. Let me get some more detail now. Lots of detail. So we've got steering wheel, and this is this great big high pressure water pump, which distributes the water to either side for them to connect a hose onto the end. You've got your windscreen surround here, which looks extremely nicely done, really nice quality. Completely free of flash, no nonsense at all. Got a part trying to leave the sprue there, gotta be careful with that. Lots of tiny parts, very small stuff here. Yeah, that's nice. Lots of very, very small components there. No idea what they are. Don't ask. Don't ask and I won't tell you. Ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lies. Yeah. But a lot of lovely parts. Here's your ladder rail chassis here, complete with these leaf springs. Yeah, same on the other side. And you've got your engine here, one side of the engine. I think is this a duplicated sprue actually, or not? No, it's just that they've split the engine over two sprues. I thought there was a duplicate there, isn't it? If you look at this one, this is the one that's got all the ladders on it, and the ladders are quite nicely done, aren't they? Look at that. Big old ladders. Well, they need to be, don't they? Rescuing people from apartment buildings that have been missile struck or whatever, bombed or whatever. When will it end, eh? Anyway, we've done our part. A lot of you watching this video, it's just exactly the sort of thing, the sort of vehicles that some of our money will help to maintain and run, and in some cases even acquire. You know, I know that Ukraine Relief have acquired several ambulances and I think a couple of fire engines. They've certainly been active in civilian rescue equipment. Look at that, there's your tubes which your big hoses are going to go into. Some lovely detail, isn't there? There's the exhaust system. And here's some of your water piping. That's very nice. And here's this is your transmission drive to the rear wheels. And then finally on this side, on this kit, this truck, we've got the other side of the engine here. Engine gearbox. And we've got all bits of, you know, bumpers and differential housings. Top of the engine in the V here. I presume it's a diesel, is it? Did it say what the engine was? I didn't check that, did I? It doesn't actually say petrol or diesel. I think the diesel, surely. Sometimes these Soviet things were petrol though, aren't they? So I'm not too sure about the ZIL. Some of you that are ZIL experts will be shouting up at the screen. There's your differentials, you've got your running boards, these transfer boxes. The prop shafts don't look overly huge, do they? Considering it's supposed to be such a rugged vehicle. I mean, they look, you know, less than a couple of inches in diameter. The actual drive prop shaft itself, it looks quite spindly, really. You've got the cooling fan here. That's quite nice, isn't it? And then again, you've got the other sides of the chassis rail on as well. And your fuel tanks. It's nice, isn't it? If you turn it this way, you've got the sorry, that way. You've got your drive belts here for your fan and your drive belt fan belts. I think that's the fan belt, the small one, isn't it? That one. And then lots and lots of, you know, really small parts, and you got the leaf springs, great detail, no flash, nice kit that, quite impressed. So I think I'm going to give them individual ratings, even though it's a combo kit, because it's very hard to do it when there's more than one subject. So I think marks out of 10, it's probably a 9.5, because it would get more, but for the rubber tracks, a bit outdated now I think, and obviously the clear glasswork is not quite up to the current very high standard that ICM have, and it's a little bit older too, in that sense, so no surprises there really. I think 9.5 out of 10. Despite being a slightly older tool, it's actually beautifully done. It's very clean moulding, very sharp. Love it, it's very nice. If you like your trucks and you want a fire truck, this is the one for you. I just add before I forget as well, our good friend Stuart Neal, he has asked me, we're coming up next year to the anniversary of Chernobyl, so it'll be 40 years, is it? 40 years of Chernobyl? 40 years of Chernobyl. I can't believe it. And of course ICM do a whole range of kits related to Chernobyl, a bit grim obviously, but they are one of the few manufacturers that does anything like that, you know, because obviously it's very close to home for them. So I will be doing it. Stuart's asked me basically if I will do some Chernobyl reviews about these poor figures and things and the guys that had to go into the reactor. Heavy, but I'm going to do it because I think it needs to be recognised. You know, more bravery in Ukraine, and that was even during the Soviet era, 1986, obviously. Lovely kit, 9.5 out of 10 on that one. So just bear with me a second. I will get out. I'll put that away as a separate kit. So lots of plastic. I hope it all goes back in the box. Always my fear with these. Will it fit back in? Right, the other one, of course, is the fire truck, the hose fire truck itself. Let me just have a cup of tea. That's a nice cup of tea here. Just need to have some refreshment. I don't know if you've all seen my UFO yet. UFO talk. I think it's about 90 minutes, isn't it? It's quite a long one. I could have made it 9 hours. Think yourself, just be grateful. Think yourself lucky. I mentioned it because I just noticed I've left my list here, which has got the broadcast dates order that those shows were shown in, which is not the dates they should have been shown in. Very strange order indeed, but anyway, we talked about that. So, hope you enjoyed that show. I certainly enjoyed doing it. It was great fun. And my wife actually got me Lieutenant Ellis, the figure. The one thing in my Konami collection I didn't have, she's actually got that, which is very nice of her. As a prezi. She obviously doesn't feel threatened by Lieutenant Ellis, but it's because she's not so young anymore. I mean Lieutenant Ellis, not my wife, obviously. Careful. Treading on stony ground there. Thin ice, you know. Right, so here's a fire truck. Quickly move on to the fire truck. So here's your fire truck. It's got some instrumentation decals. It's got a little bit more in the way of graphics. It's got the Ukraine Fire Service logos on it, which is very nice. Nice decals, very nice and bright and nice and colourful. I like those, those are good. Let's read you what it says then. I'll just have another quick slug of tea as I zoom you back. I'm drinking it quickly because it's going cold. My Royal British Legion poppy mug there. Right, the hose fire truck then, which is kit 43105. The special fire hose truck is designed for mechanised laying fire hoses from the fire site. Okay, so these guys actually lay the hoses between the fire itself and the ZIL truck that we've just seen. It said production began in 1989, so it's just before the end of the Berlin Wall, isn't it? Just end of the Soviet era. And it's based on the off-road KamAZ 43105, which has proven itself many times. A specially prepared chassis is fitted with an all-metal body with side and rear doors. Inside, the body is divided into two compartments, with the front one houses firefighting equipment and the rear one holds fire hoses. The body also has special racks that can form sections of different sizes. The crew of the vehicle consists of a driver and 2 operators. The first operator is responsible for controlling the fire hose assembly mechanism, getting them together as quick as possible, while the second operator monitors the laying of the hoses and controls their placement in the body after use. So one puts them out, one puts them back in, basically. Okay. I mean, again, like in the current contemporary situation, sadly, they probably have to rush from one fire to another, so it's almost like a Formula 1 thing where it's like a pit stop. They've got to get them out as quickly as possible and then get them back in as quickly as possible to move on to the next fire. Yeah. Anyway, it goes on to say, the length of such a hose can be wait for this, what that? Really? Oh, I misread it. The length of these hoses can be well over 2.5 kilometres. So there's a lot of hose in this thing, oh jeez. Some of these vehicles are still in use in fire stations today. Well, I've seen them on the news. I've definitely seen some of these. Full weight 14.5 tonnes. Wow, that's quite heavy, isn't it? It's a slightly more meaty vehicle, this. Maximum speed 85, so that's like 55 miles an hour. That's not bad at all, is it? Crew of 3. Okay, well, there we go then. Very impressive. 2.5 kilometres of hose. That's incredible. Right, let's zoom you in. I'll show you what we've got then. Let's have a look-see. So there's going to be 1 or 2 parts that you're not going to use here, as you can see on the sprues. Actually, not many parts in fairness that you're not going to use on this variant. They're probably just from the standard KamAZ, aren't they? Right, so similar thing to the last one, building up your ladder chassis, mounting in, you start mounting in your, like a reeling system for the fire hoses, I guess. Is that a winch? It might be a winch actually. I think it might be a winch here at the top right. Yeah. And then you're going to build up your chassis. Got some electrical equipment going in here for reeling the hoses and winching, etc. Building all that up, you've got a transfer box there, very similar to the other one, transfer box, and then you've got these drive shafts, leaf springs, all very similar, big bumper bar at the bottom. Building up your engine, first of all your engine and gearbox, quite a big meaty thing, isn't it? Wow. I suppose the reliability of these is the important thing, isn't it? 55 miles an hour is not sluggish though, is it, for something that weighs 14.5 tonne? That's not bad at all. It's like a modern lorry almost. So you get your engine gearbox going in, all your ancillaries with your alternators and all that stuff, and your cooling fan at the front with the fan drive belts. Looks like an air filter going on there. You've got your radiator coming in here at the front. Then you've got your exhaust system, which actually looks quite complicated. It's almost like a Formula 1 car, the way it's overlapping itself, crisscrossing a little bit. Oh yes, you can see it there, look. Okay. And then you've got the differentials and the drive system. Going to the back, the double axle at the rear, 2 differentials for that of course. And here we go, we've got a couple of these anti-roll bar sort of things that basically smooth out the torque and just beef up the whole mounting of the mounting points, control rods if you will, for the differentials. And then you've got your actual differentials, transfer box differentials for the transfer box that goes up to the front, goes into the engine at the front underneath the gearbox, and then emerges. It all looks very complicated, doesn't it? The actual vehicle, I mean. I've got to say the instructions in this one seem very clear though, they're very good. And then you've got like a sump guard here underneath the front to protect it, and you've got mounting brackets for all the equipment that's going to go on the side. Looks like is that a fuel tank on the side? I think it is. Oh, no, there's the fuel tank, sorry. There's your fuel tank here. Oxygen bottles going in there by the look of it as well. That's cool. So all those get mounted in that step there, those sides. Then you've got your wheels and tyres, which I think, are they rubber again or are they plastic? So I've got a feeling, yeah, they're rubber again. I've got a feeling this is maybe a slightly newer kit. Not near enough though. Anyway, rubber going on there with your wheels, road wheels, all those are going to go on here. And then you're building up the actual mounting on the chassis itself for the sort of stowage area of the truck. Building up the back of the rear bulkhead wall. And then you've got some doors going in there 2 doors on either side of the look of it. Or is that just showing it from a different angle? No, it's 2 doors. 2 doors. So windows going in here, and then you've got your sort of mud guards and the protection at the rear, including you've got your lights and a couple of door handles and things like that, latches. Again, there's like a big lid on the top. I think that's for access rather than anything else, but it does seem a bit odd on this, because this isn't a water carrier, is it? Or is it? I don't think it is. I don't think so. So it's just an access hatch. Then you've got some stowage boxes going in there, grab rails for along the roof, so after they can walk along the top and when they're trying to get the hoses out and all that kind of thing. You've got an access ladder, climbing ladder on the side to get onto the roof. This whole compartment then gets placed on the chassis, and then you've got the internals going to build up your cabin. So you've got your drivers and passenger seat here. Looks like a sprung seat, the look of it. And you've got your gear change and your pedals going in there. And you've got there's actually 3 seats in total. 3 seats side by side, rather than a bench seat, which is probably better, isn't it? A bit more comfortable. So you've got three crew, 3 seats, fair enough. And you're going to build up your cabin, including the rear bulkhead, rear wall. And then you've got the front of the cab, complete with the front outer body with your headlights going on. You've got your windscreen going in there, you've got your instrument panel, putting in your steering wheel, indicators all going in there. And then you've got like a little, there is a roof, some lights on the roof, and there's also a flap, like a ventilation flap I think that is, for the roof here. Doors going on and mirrors, pop those on either side. And then you've got the exhaust. It appears to have an exhaust. Is that an exhaust system? Or is that a siren? I think it's the exhaust that goes up the top, so they can go through water, I presume. It looks like an exhaust to me, like a periscope type exhaust. Lights, wipers going on there, and you've also got some support brackets underneath. And then you put the tipping, so on these tipping, because of the support brackets, you can have it tipped forward, I presume. So it's got a tipped cab, assembly variant 1 or 2. What's the difference? I'm struggling to see the difference there. It looks like 2. It's like, where's Wally? Or what's different about this picture? It looks like the same picture to me. But anyway, and then finally we have our colour call-outs. Your fire truck is completed. Mykolaiv, early 1990s, or Odessa in 2012, before all this horror started. And then Kharkiv in 2015. Well, that's sort of after the horror began, isn't it, really? I know Kharkiv wasn't occupied at that time, or too badly affected at that stage. We won't say any more about today. Well, isn't that nice? Nice instructions, very clear. Can't find anything wrong with that. Let's see what the plastic is like now, because the proof of the pudding's always in the eating, isn't it? So bear with me while I just carefully put those decals away and put them on one side. Just go in the tick. That needs to go safely in there. Right, now then. This is a big old bag of sprue, very large sprues this time, into the digger. There we are. Huge bag. Not quite as much extra space in it, but it's sufficient. Right, okay. Over there. It'll reflect. We don't want to have it messing up our image. There we go. Right, a very similar situation I think in terms of wheels and tyres, so we'll get that out of the way first, I think. So, wheels and tyres. Tyres first, again, rubberised. They tend not to do that now on the new kits, but they do it pretty well in fairness. Oh, they do this one really well. I remember this from the other KamAZ truck. This is one of the ones I raved about, wasn't it? Saying how the tyres are some of the nicest I'd seen. These and the Ryefield Puma are probably some of the best tyres I've seen for a long time. In rubber, I mean. So look at this. Oh, And this time we don't have a horrible seam ruining it. We don't. In fact, there's got some nice contour, a bit of detail on the side, yeah, and mole lines from the original reel ties. I mean, yes, they've done this. This is more spectacular. That's really nice. Those are nice. Those treads, aren't they? Look at that. Oh, I like these. I like these. I mean, if it's done well, rubber can look really, really good. You know. And sometimes it can be easy to weather it, I think, as well, because it naturally, like a reel tie, it takes a bit of mud, cover it in mud. Well, that, I think, is a good start indeed for it. So let's just get those wrapped back up. Then we have the wheels. Sorry, the wheels here. And you can see they've got, I think it's drum brakes on these. I think it is. Those are very nice. Nice wheels. See all the bolts. Good detail there. Then we have our clear parts. Now again, I think it'll be very similar to the other one in some respects, because I say it's not going to be the young man with his bamboo stick polishing the tooling. But I think it'll be okay. Yes, they're actually quite nice, aren't they? There's nothing much wrong with that. Very nice. Yeah, they're fine. Absolutely fine. Slight distortion here, just where can you see where the sprue gate contact point is? There's a little bit of distortion creeping in there. There, just at the bottom of it, see it? Where it joins the sprue. Same on that one. But we won't get too excited, it's quite a small window. There's only 2 windows, I thought there was 3. That's odd. It shows 3 windows on the artwork. And that's only 2 windows there, so I'm a little bit puzzled unless there's another, perhaps there's another sprue in here somewhere. Unless this variant doesn't have, it shows it in the picture, doesn't it? That's got me slightly baffled actually, I'm not quite understanding why that differs. Okay, anyway, very nice clear part, nice rubber, very nice rubber in fairness. I'm right, there are more clear parts, okay. There's obviously different variants and there's a couple of other bags which are in fact duplicated, so we'll only open one. That explains it, because I could see there were 3 windows on the roof but only 2 clear parts. 2 of the clear parts, well here you go. And again, there's a nice quality to these, but they have got a tiny bit of distortion in them, but they're quite thick. They've got a nice almost liquid texture to them. See if I can get this in the camera for you. Don't know if I can quite get this right. You can see it now, here we go. See what I mean by it looking almost liquid? But there is a little bit of distortion. But again, these are up high on the vehicle anyway. So you're not going to notice that, I don't think, when it's actually in situ at all. And we are talking about very minimal, being a bit picky really. As is my want. So there's your clear part, so that's explained that mystery. Then we have got all the main parts now, haven't we? This is where we get into all the nitty gritty, so I'll zoom back slightly. But here we go, so we've got our big ladder rail chassis here, complete with our leaf spring suspension. All the parts of these differentials, which again, they don't look all that huge, these drive shafts, these prop shafts, do they? Propulsion shafts, they look quite modest really. There's the end of all the oxygen balls, and then you've got your engine and gearbox there. Top of the engine here. The frontage here is going to have the lights in it on the front bumper. And then some quite small detailed parts here, some lovely moulding actually. Lovely moulding. It seems with, oh sorry, these are the oxygen bottles here by the way, the actual tubes. It does seem with modern, kits that the clear parts have sort of finally caught up now, haven't they, to the quality of, manufacturers like Airfix and ICM for example, and Revell even, perhaps less so in their case. But these guys they've got all this bit perfect kind of thing now, and then they've just about now got up to the same standard with the clear parts. which is why they're not quite as perfect in this kit because it's a little bit older. But these parts look absolutely fantastic. There's your lid on the top, goes on the roof, and you've got a whole wealth of tiny parts here. All these little bits of it's quite part heavy, isn't it? Actually, you've got all the electrical wiring as well there. Look, that's cool. Huh. And the rear bulkhead, and there's your rear frame. Yeah, a lot of parts. It's quite part heavy. Then you've got some big stuff here. There's the roof, all in one piece. Some nice moulding going on here. There's your roof, complete with where that lid goes. That's where your windows go, that I was alluding to. And then here's your floor. Yeah, it doesn't have an internal floor. And then you've got the two sides. That's the port side and that's the starboard side, I think, over there. Very nice. Then we've got some smaller parts, and I've got to say this sprue looks absolutely brilliant. And this looks very right up to date. Look at the detail here. Look at your fan belt there. That's cool, isn't it? Fan belt, steering wheel. They moulded these very, very, very finely. Exhaust system. And then there's lots of tiny parts. I'm not even sure what they are. Again, you've got these drive unions. I think that's maybe for one of the pumps because it's so small. It can't be for the. That can't be the propulsion engine gearbox. It would snap like a carrot, wouldn't it? So I think it's for one of these pump systems. Your windscreen wipers. They've moulded these very finely. Look at that. Moulded it up to like a separate piece of sprue to support it. That's nice. Yeah, they've done some nice work, some grab handles here. That's very nice. And then last but not least, we have all of the cab components. So we've got our seats, seat squabs and seat backs. Back of the seat. Front of the cabin, external bodywork. Complete with the radiator intake grille. And then you've got your instrument panel over here. And then you've got the internals of the cabin. Well, that's the external, I think, isn't it? Or is it? Is that internal or external? I'm not quite sure. External, internal. That's the roof, isn't it, actually? That's the roof, yeah. So that's where the lights go. And then you've got your little running boards where the sort of footstep is. Detail that beautifully. No flash. Look at that. Open without flash. Those apertures. That's nice. Spin this round here. Get your doors. Couple of I don't know if there was a jerry cans for petrol, emergency petrol, or whether it's for water. I think it's probably petrol. It tends to indicate there are a petrol engine there, doesn't it, actually? That's the way my mind is turning now. Here's your driver's seat, which you can see here has got quite a lot of detail, and it's got some nice, I'm sure it's picking that up, some ribbing on the seat. Is it picking that up? Yeah, I think you can see it now. Fine ribbing on the seat there. Yeah, there you go. And then you've got the ribbing, obviously, on the seat squabs down here as well. There. That's nicely done, isn't it? It's a beauty, isn't it, actually? It's a really nice, vintage trucks. This is the one to have, isn't it? Wow! What a nice kit. And then here, what's that? Is that some trunking? Something like some trunking, isn't it? Some fine detail there as well. It's a cracking kit, that. First one was good, this one's even better. What a nice combo. So I'm going to give this, I'm going to go a bit higher, I'm going to give this 9.75 out of 10, which I think it deserves. Because although it's got rubber tyres, they're really good ones, you know. You don't get rubber tyres much better than that, quite frankly, ever. As good as you'll see anywhere, I think. So if you'll just indulge me for 2 seconds, I'll just try to pop this back in its bag. Challenge of the day. There we go. Just don't drop those. It always happens. Doesn't want to know, but it did. It was easy. Good for that. I must dread this moment. I'll be fighting with it on camera for 5 minutes. It's quite irritating for you, I think. You all know how crinkly these bags are. Crinkle, crinkle, whoops. Right then, what do we say? So I say 9.75 out of 10 from me. Well done, ICM. That's a nice, both nice kits actually, both nice kits. But that one is really good. The main fire hose truck. Doesn't include any hoses though, so I presume that those show hoses. I mean, I presume those are sort of kept inside, aren't they? Is that going to close again? It doesn't want to, does it? Got a better idea. Hang on a second. I think that's better. Got more of a chance to do it that way. Force it. There we go. What a cracker! Like that. I wasn't sure whether I was going to be doing this review because, well, you know, in terms of ICM, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to review it and actually ask for it. But I'm glad I did because that's actually been a bit of a revelation. And you know, again, you think about Chernobyl. Certainly, this one, the ZIL based one, that would certainly be something that would have been used at Chernobyl. I think it's in one of the sets. I have a feeling. So that's yeah, that's quite a nice one. It has to be said. Lovely fire trucks. I mean, who doesn't like a fire truck? When we were all kids, we all loved a fire truck, didn't we? Big red truck with all this action going on around it, and people running up ladders and hoses spraying everywhere, you know. But sadly, as is depicted in that artwork today, they're not domestic fires users that they're going to, sadly. But anyway, so thanks to ICM, 9.75 out of 10. A great result for you there. Thanks very much for the loan of the kit. Or they actually donated the kit, in fact. We have a couple of others from ICM coming in the not too distant future, so I hope you'll rejoin me for that. In the meantime, give us a like, give us 10 out of 10, give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Please comment below in the comments, and if you're watching this live in the premiere, make sure you give us a thumbs up at the end and give us a 10 out of 10. Anyway, till next time, thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate your time, and hope to have some more interesting stuff to show you in the not too distant future. And until then, stay well, stay safe. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, thanks a lot, and bye for now.